My parents divorced a long time ago, and then my mom got pregnant a couple of years after my dad had already remarried. We used to spend 50-50, but I knew her boyfriend, important. When my mom was pregnant, her boyfriend left her, and I eventually found out he was married. I was 12 and my brother was 10. My memory is very clear. When my half-sister was born, my mom tried to pin it on my dad. She claimed they had an affair and demanded he was on the birth certificate. Long story short, a DNA test proved she was lying, and my dad got custody of us. The allegations, however, created a huge rift in my dad's second marriage, but they managed to fix it, and they are still together. My mom moved away to be closer to her family and maintained the lie that my dad was the real father with the kid. My brother was way more forgiving, but I cut her off, and in the last 20 years, I've seen her 3 times, and those were too many times for me. My brother started having mental health problems about 3 years ago. Think depression, anxiety, the whole thing. He was still in touch with our mom and had sort of a relationship with our half-sister. On one very bad day, he called our mom, and after the call, he had an accident. He eventually told me the conversation was too hard for him. I was red. Called her and told her if her family ever contacted mine, I would tell her daughter the truth. She claimed ignorance and asked me if I didn't consider the two of them family, and I said not only I didn't, I hope they never crossed mine or my brother's life again. My dad thought it was too harsh. My stepmom was on my side, and my brother thanked me. Why I might be the a-hole. Half-sister started messaging my dad. His number is basically public, telling him that they had very few resources, she missed him, etc. Please note, they never had a relationship. My dad told me, and I was already pissed, and told him to block her, but he said he felt bad. All I asked my dad is not to give her any money. Last week, she asked him directly if he could send her some money for her expenses, and when my dad said no, she started trying to guilt-trip him about not paying child support and implying he was a deadbeat because he only cared to give everything to his other kids. I'm not very proud, but I don't regret what I did. I called her and told her everything, who her dad is, that he was married, and sent her copies of the DNA thing. She was sobbing, but I kept going. My mom called me saying I destroyed the life of an innocent person because I'm bitter, and her relatives keep contacting me to call me awful names. My family says I might have gone overboard, but understand why I did what I did. Add-on. I just want to clarify some of the things mentioned by you guys. My dad didn't tell her anything because he said it wasn't his place. He says it wasn't mine either. It is the first time she's contacted him directly. She has tried adding him on Facebook, approaching him at my brother's graduation, and sent him letters. My dad never gave her an inch. We had a very nice, comfortable life, but then again, we are his kids. The accident involved a car and my brother being severely depressed. It happened after a call with our mom in which she kept pushing him to send them more money, and my brother trying to cut them off because he wanted to start saving and maybe travel. He felt extremely guilty and couldn't take it. They both, mother and kid, always dismissed his mental health struggles. He did have some sort of relation or communication with our half-sister, but she was always bad-mouthing my dad, and my brother decided to distance himself a long time ago. The phone call was just what broke it all. For those who claim they were left destitute. After my mom attempted to destroy my dad's life, he still bought her a house in their new city and gave her enough money to start a business or do whatever she wanted with it. She also badmouths my dad, which is why I don't like being around her. She was never a great mom, so yeah, maybe I was always biased, but she saw a house with good parents and wanted us to lose it. Over the years, she always threatened to sue my dad for child support a couple of times. Yes, even after the DNA. Why did I abandon my half-sister? I was a teenager whose dad was deeply hurt by all the events that happened and had no interest at the beginning. When she was on calls, I was polite. She added me on Facebook and I agreed. Same with other social media. Since she was a teen, she loves dragging my dad's name, blaming my stepmom, my brother, and me. She had a fantasy idea about the situation, and every time my brother and I would confront our mom, and she would make half-sister back down. After my brother's accident, she contacted him, not to ask, "How are you doing, brother?" but to ask when he could send them some money. She is 22, by the way. She blames my brother and father for having to take a job to buy whatever she wants. I did go crazy. It might not have been my place, and I am the a-hole in the eyes of some. But my family members were being hurt and harassed. I see it as protecting my family. Add on 2. I think it has more visibility here. The graduation they attended was my brother's high school graduation. He invited her because she kept crying I didn't want her at mine, and he felt bad. They spent the ceremony and reception telling everybody they were related to us, and that is when our half-sister first saw my dad, that we know of. My brother had a horrible experience and didn't invite them to anything else. He also didn't invite them to the party hosted by our parents because he just wanted to have a good time. He sent them money starting at 18 when he left for college. At first, it was part of what our dad sent him for his expenses. Then, when he got a job, he sent them money from there. It was not wow amount of money, but they would always tell him sad stories about what they lacked and how lucky he was to have everything paid for. My brother developed extreme feelings of guilt towards his private education and being put through college debt-free because of it. He is very kind, but realized they were taking advantage of him and sought help. Why did my dad get them a house? Because he felt pity for my mom. My stepmom agreed with the decision, but didn't want to have contact with her anymore. There was no parental alienation. We were free to see or call her whenever we wanted, but we didn't. My brother has seen them probably 10 times in the last 20 years. Their communication was mainly online or over the phone. My dad always said it was not his place to tell the kid. Mom's family knows the truth, or at least many of them do, but they believe it is better to think your dad is a deadbeat than being the product of an affair. They have not been to any milestones in our lives for about a decade. I know it is hard to understand, but my dad is a great person. I know he's not perfect, but he is a really amazing dad, and he doesn't deserve them coming and calling him names. My brother is doing better now. He hasn't talked to them since he was in the hospital after his accident. He told them if they ever contacted him, he would call the police. I love my family. Everyone sucks here, aside from half-sister. You and your brother for seemingly never even attempting to cultivate a real relationship with your half-sister. Why was she punished for what your mother did? It honestly seems that no one was over in her corner. Even you admitted that her and your brother only had sort of a relationship. Your mom for the situation she created. Your dad for not telling her the truth earlier on. You all suck. It seems like she spent her entire life being crapped on by the only family she has. Everyone sucks here. Your mom is the biggest a-hole for lying and being manipulative. Your father is the next biggest a-hole because he shouldn't have allowed your mother to continue with the lie for so long. As the only other adult at the time, he should have made your mother's family aware of the truth. Even if he didn't believe it was his place to tell your half-sister, he should have told her if your mother wasn't going to. You are the next a-hole. Smallest a-hole in the situation, but still an a-hole. You deliberately hurt your half-sister to hurt your mother. That is an a-hole thing to do. You did not use kindness, compassion, or empathy when telling your half-sister a very difficult truth to hear. Also, while half-sister has clearly acted in some toxic ways, I won't call her an a-hole. She grew up with an extremely warped perception, and if nobody else was willing to tell her the truth, it actually makes perfect sense that she both wants to be in your lives, but simultaneously resents you. You're the siblings and father she never got to have, for seemingly no reason, and her mother was literally poisoning her with lies about all of you. Be a little easier on her. Not the a-hole. You only destroyed the bubble your mom created for your half-sister. She is a victim here too. Who knows what kind of fairy tale your mom told her, and she grew up believing that. It was harsh, but she deserved to know. Too bad she had to find out this way. Not the a-hole. Your half-sister is a grown adult and honestly needs to know she is related to her bio dad's family. Your mom is a real piece of work. Hold your head up high. What you did wasn't nice, but when dealing with gaslighting narcissists, nice doesn't work. Update. After I threw the bombshell, my half-sister didn't say anything for a couple of days. Then she started attacking everybody on social media. She had her friends sending us stuff, people making negative reviews on my dad's business, you name it. That was a good thing at the end, since a friend of mine explained we had a case for harassment. We let them know we will be doing that, and everything disappeared, like magic. I sent an email to my former teacher, stepsister's father, stating that he should do something, and if he didn't know, he should. He didn't know. It turns out when my mom got pregnant, she thought my dad could go with it because he was such a good dad with us. She wanted him to be the dad because she didn't think the teacher was suitable. She's unemployed. To make everything drama short, my stepsister met her dad. From what I know from other people, she was extremely mean and judgmental when he told her he could not afford stuff she was asking for. My half-sister still maintains we owe her money. I know many of you thought we owe her something, and we should have stayed around. Please understand, It was us or her. And unless you know how that situation is, congrats, you are lucky. My brother refuses to talk to any of them. My dad decided to do his usual toy drive though, in spite of the bad spirit. But he got even more because people know he doesn't have bad intentions. At the end, my stepmom and I explained to them that either they prove something or we will start accusing them of stuff. I used to be at least receptive, and would have been, even with the years away, but my half-sister is horrible. Yes, it might not be her fault how she was raised, but she is still like that. So this is the resolution to my issue. It is somewhat resolved. Over a year and a half ago, I learned, thanks to modern-day ancestry DNA kits, that I fathered a child over 17 years ago with an ex-fling right before starting college. Both her mother and husband kept us from knowing each other because he didn't want me involved as part of forgiving her for her apparent infidelity. We still learned the truth. After that, we wanted to know everything about each other. Sadie, my daughter, is such a wonderful person. I've been really blessed to get to know her and be there for her as her father. Right now, she still has a complicated relationship with her mom. As angry as I've been at them for lying to me, I'm learning to get past it while also telling Sadie to give them a chance. She still doesn't want to, and asked to come live with me as soon as she's 18 until she can have enough to be on her own. Since this weekend was her 18th birthday, she wanted the whole family to go out to eat together. So it was them, her maternal grandparents and cousins, my family as well, eating together. Everyone brought their gifts. My gift to her that I didn't tell her about, because I wanted it to be a surprise, was not only plane tickets for us to go camping in Yosemite once she graduates from high school next month, but it was also to show her I've set up a college fund for her so she doesn't have to worry about student loans or financial aid. My daughter was beyond happy. I've never seen her cry that way from excitement. It was very emotional for me to make her so happy like that. The only problem that came after that was her mom ridiculing me for showing them up in front of everyone, getting her these big expensive gifts. Her husband felt bad ever since that dinner because the only thing they gave her was a bracelet with a family photo. She acts like Sadie not being as happy with their gift had anything to do with what I got her, when the reality was she didn't want them there. Her grandma convinced her to let them, but obviously I didn't say that because I'd feel like a jerk. But I did say doing this for my daughter wasn't to act like I'm better than them. It was to give her something she's always wanted and also invest in her future when I couldn't be in her past. She continues to accuse me of purposely doing this to embarrass them, not even discussing with them what I was planning on doing, and getting their okay ahead of time. She seems genuinely upset about it, and I really don't know if I stepped over a line. Sadie was going to be 18 when I made that decision, so it didn't seem like it was necessary to discuss with them. Her husband even messaged me this morning, asking, wasn't it enough that Sadie is moving in with me, and I didn't have to twist the knife further by winning her over with money? Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. They messed up and kept your daughter from you. That's unforgivable in my book. You didn't get to see her grow up. Worse, it sounds like she didn't find out from them. You can be part of her future and you're showing her you will, but nothing can make up for the missed years. I don't think her mom and stepdad would have told her, and she knows that. Mom feels cross she got caught and isn't accepting the blame for what she did. Not your problem. Not the a-hole. Even their gift of a bracelet with a family photo, which I assume you aren't in, is making her birthday about them. You missed out on a lot of her life, and a go big or go home gift on a milestone birthday will never make you the a-hole as long as the gift is genuine, which yours seems like it is. Not the a-hole. They hid your daughter from you for almost 17 years. They are now acting like a-holes trying to diminish you and your daughter's relationship. She is 18 and they have no further say in anything. Enjoy your daughter. Sounds like ex-husband couldn't have kids, so she got pregnant and hid it from you. I really hope I am wrong on that, but... I have a stepsister, Claire, who I really haven't seen since she left for college at 18. I see her at the occasional holiday dinner, but we have zero relationship. Honestly, I can't stand her, and just everything about her personality is ugh to me. My mom married Claire's dad when I was 13 and she was 14, and Claire made it very clear she wasn't interested in being a family. She was often very standoffish. She had experienced some serious aggression at her mom's house, and she was kind of mean. She mostly kept to herself, but made it clear she thought she was better than us. We had a couple of vicious fights, but I don't really have bad feelings towards her at this point. I just don't like her. Claire got engaged a few months before me and set the date for September 2022. I'm not invited, which is expected. When I got engaged, I immediately knew where I wanted to hold my wedding, and the closest date I could get to what I wanted was Claire's date. I figured it would be fine. We have no extended family, no mutual friends. My mom could go to mine and her dad could go to hers. Neither of us is close to the other's parent. I picked that date because I didn't want a winter wedding, and the other ones were too close to December. When I told my mom, she flipped out and said I am humiliating her by making her come without her husband, and this is the equivalent of not letting her have a +1. She said my dad will be there with his wife, and she will look like a loser who can't get a man. Everyone knows she is married. She said the wedding won't be fun for her without her husband, and how could I be so selfish? She is also annoyed that my stepdad will be at Claire's wedding without her, with his ex there. This was an a-hole move. Since you are getting married, you should know that people like to celebrate these kinds of events with their spouses. You are putting your mother and stepfather in a difficult position, on purpose. Yes, the a-hole. Move your wedding. Yes, the a-hole. To be honest, it sounds like you did this to spite her. Did you really think your mom or her dad would want to go without each other to either wedding? I'm not for gatekeeping dates, but you knew the date. You share families, like it or not. And you seem like you really don't like her, so you didn't care. I mean, you don't have to like her, but this was a crap move. Yes, the a-hole. What if Claire wanted her step-parent at the wedding? Your parents are married and may want to attend both weddings, even if they aren't particularly close. They're still family, and they shouldn't have to choose between the two of you.